I'm Dana Han-Klein here with Richard E. Grant for Can You Ever Forgive Me?
What do you admire most about Jack Hawk?
His incredible Labrador-like willingness to go up to anybody and lick him into submission till they give him a drink, a sofa to sleep on, something that he can steal, have a good time with. And that's very attractive because he lives, on the fringe, on the outer limits of acceptable society. And I think that's a very attractive thing to do, to just not give a toss about that and, completely cock a snoot at convention.
As someone who's allergic to alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
how do you keep getting cast? Like, what is it about you that says, like, let me cast this as like a drunkard or like a drug addict or like?
I have no idea. You have to ask the casting people for that. I don't know. I just obviously...
Have you ever asked the casting people about that?
Yeah. No, I just obviously have an inner sleaze that people recognize and they go, yes, we'll add alcohol to that or drugs. That'll do us.
What crime would you excel at?
What crime would I excel at? What crime would you excel at?
That's a good question. Probably like breaking and entering.
Breaking and entering. I think just straightforward stealing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like what scale of stealing?
Oh, big.
Big?
Yeah.
Like artwork's big? Like Thomas Crown Affair, like?
Yeah.
Okay, good,
yeah.
good.
Helicopters.
If you had to forge a fine artist or author's work, who would it be and why?
Oh my goodness, that is such a hard question because there are so many artists that I admire. But I would do any Picasso because the variety of his work is bottomless. So, yeah, I'd do him.
Do you think you'd do it well?
Yeah.
How's your fine art skills?
Very good.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your favorite medium?
Line drawing portraits, people.
Okay. Are you a forgiving person?
Yes, of course, but in reality, no. Full of revenge and vengeance, I'm afraid. I'd like to be forgiving. I have forgiven some people.
Okay.
But for the most part, revenge is my default mode.
Is it a dish best served cold?
Oh,
or are you like an immediate,
cold.
like...
Any which way. I never forget.
Okay.
I have an elephantine memory for people who wronged me. I hope to outlive them and dance on their graves. And I have done some taps on some tombstones already.
You're like a kill list? Not a kill list, but like, like a list of like...
A little book.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, actually to get to my age.
In that industry.
Without just being, oh yes, everybody's lovely and Judi Dench-like. No. It's an ever-growing list, too.
You have to have like competitive like volumes.
I have never in all my years been asked that question.
What?
But thank you. What you've just asked me.
Oh,
delighted.
I'm glad I could bring
okay.
something to that.
So serious.
What transgression could you never forgive someone for?
Betrayal.
How do you define betrayal?
If you trusted somebody, and I trusted somebody for 30 years, we were great friends, and she accidentally copied me into an email to a mutual friend in which I was character assassinated, and our friendship has never recovered from that. Yeah. I can see every word that was written in that paragraph as I speak those words to you.
You're someone who keeps lots of track of kind of your life, right? Or is that just
I keep a diary since I was 11.
Do you go back and read them a lot, or do you?
I go back and read them if I'm feeling in a state of complete turmoil, which is every other day, and just go, oh yeah, we know what this is. That's the same as what happened before, and just take a deep breath and you'll get out of it.
What keeps you motivated to do that?
To keep a diary, because I grew up in a the smallest country in the Southern Hemisphere, and saying that you want to be an actor in 1969 when I was 12 years old and I landed on the moon was as ludicrous socially to say, well, I'm going to be an astronaut. People go, yeah, you'll never do that. So considering where I am, like today, sitting talking to you here in San Francisco, I'm in a movie with...
You're in a lot of movies.
Melissa McCarthy, and you just go, has this really happened to me? And a diary is a way of making that real, because it doesn't feel real. There's always that feeling that you're somehow not quite worthy, or it's not happening to you, it's happening to somebody else. I think people in movies, I think of, the list of people who are in movies, and I can think of, we've sort of pretended to that.
Do you collect anything aside from memories?
Do I collect anything?
Do you collect anything?
Yeah. Vintage, turn of the century tin toys, paintings, furniture, fabrics. I like dead people's things.
Fabrics?
Yeah.
What is the most interesting
Textile
or unique fabric you own?
Oh, I have 18th century embroidered fabric that is like the feel and the smell of it is of 2 centuries ago. It's absolutely extraordinary, and I love that.
What got you into collecting fabrics?
Oh, the feel and the smell of them. I'm obsessed with smelling everything, so yeah, that more than anything. And they're just visually beautiful.
What would you do if you found out that one of those fabrics was counterfeit? That's where the origin of this question was. It's like the people who collect them.
First, I'd want my money back, and then I'd want more of it, because I know that if somebody's made it now in the 21st century, they can do it again.
If Jack were able to see the film, what would you want him to say?
Well, he would object to the fact that somebody as old and tombstone featured as I am playing him, because he says to Lee, when he's dying of age at the end of the story, the last time that they meet, whatever you do in your portrayal of me, make me young, 28, and really clever. So, it's a very hard thing to imagine what a real person who is now no longer with us would make of your interpretation of them. But, I think the spirit of him is alive and kicking in me in this film, so I hope that he'd give it his approbation.
He'd raise a glass to it.
I think so.
Logistically or emotionally, what was the most challenging scene?
The final scene where you know that these characters are never going to see each other again. He is dying of AIDS, and she's forging a reconciliation with him selfishly, to some extent, because she wants his permission in order to write this book about her forgeries and writing about herself and their friendship. So, because it was at the end of the shoot, and just the nature of the scene, knowing that you're never going to see somebody again in the story, Melissa and I were absolutely undone and wiped by doing that. We never, it was a very emotionally charged scene anyway, but one of the trams of San Francisco.
Yeah. The bane of my recording existence.
All right, okay. Yeah, but everybody knows what they are, at least.
This is true.
Yeah. Sort of like a horse breaking wind, and my goodness me.
What are they doing in here?
What are they doing in this scene? Yeah, it was rewarding as well, but it was very powerful to say goodbye, knowing that you're never going to see that person again.
What's something you learned while making this film?
That there was a scene where I had picked up a waiter and was now using Lee Israel's apartment while she was away doing research, having told me that I was forbidden to use his apartment. So we sleep together, and I had to get out of the bed to go and feed Lee Israel's cat. And they had me in a pair of boxer shorts. I thought, I know I'm 60 plus, but you can't get out of bed if you've been sleeping with somebody, in my experience, and have boxer shorts on. So I said, I'm just going to do this if you do it, considering that we're in the digital age of freeze frame. Can we do it so that you just see maybe a right cheek, very, very briefly? And they agreed to that. They thought it was unusual for an old actor to be asking for a nudity thing, and they immediately got lawyers and agents onto this, and they drafted up a thing to say, I consent to nudity of the rear view in this film, and that amused me enormously. But I don't know whether that's answered your question. What was your question?
What's something you learned?
Oh,
so I guess
that's
about
something I
nudity clauses.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So for the future, my future nude roles, I would go prepared with a lawyer up front.
Negotiate up front. These are broader questions.
Yes.
What inspires you?
Acts of kindness and compassion that have no ulterior motive. Because, in my experience, those are rare things to come across, and when you find them, treasure them. They're like gold dust.
Also in the industry you're in, they seem to be fewer and farther between.
Yeah, and the political climate that we're in at the moment, where a man with 3 sexual harassment charges can become a job for life in that position is...
Anyway, Well, what frustrates you on the flip side of what inspires you?
When sheer lying mendacity is endorsed as the truth, and when that if the truth is then dismissed as being fake news, I think is, well, I don't know what Abe Lincoln would say about this situation. Put it that way. Is that a good answer?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
How do you relax?
Oh, marijuana. If you're allergic to alcohol, then, a good joint is... We've only just met.
I know, I love it. Welcome to California. It's California. I grew up here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's being legalized everywhere.
Yeah,
finally.
Totally. How do you define success now, and how has that changed from earlier in your life or career?
Reality television stars didn't exist when I was growing up. So the idea that success can be defined as having butt implants and having reality TV following you from dawn till dusk in and out of the bathroom, all that stuff, that's changed what success as I understood it traditionally was. But I think the bottom line of it is that talent, whatever that invisible thing is, that is the thing that has longevity and sees people through and will be remembered after the fashion for the Kardashians has passed. If you can even imagine a world without the Kardashians, it's hard. I struggle.
Through it.
Yeah.
I lived through it before they were Kardashians.
Can I get through a day without knowing what the Kardashians are doing? I'm struggling. Even sitting here now, I'm thinking,
what is Kim doing right now?
Yeah, that I should be doing or aspiring to.
It's a scary world we live in. Do you now wish you thought about the butt implants before you decided to improv the plastic? Is that something else you have learned from the Kardashians in this film?
The wisdom of.
Yes.
Yeah.
That family.
Definitely.
What is some of the best advice you've been given?
My dying father said to me when he was 52 years old, 38 years ago, said, if you have 5 friends in your life, consider yourself a rich man. And at the time I was 24 and I thought, I've got lots of friends, but people that you can really count on. 5 is that's quite a big number when it comes down to it, because you find out very soon who is really there for you and you for them. So I think that was a great piece of advice.
What is some of the worst advice you've been given?
The worst advice, Hudson Hawk is going to be a great movie. Before we started shooting, it's going to change your career. Yeah, down the pan.
I mean, they weren't wrong. It might have changed your career. You did fine. You're doing fine. You're in
still
great
here.
movies now. Yeah.
Still here.
Growing up, who was your favorite fictional character?
Alice in Wonderland. And I've read it since I was 7 years old every year, and I've read it to my daughter, because it is the English class system in all its variations in comical form. And it's also so symptomatic of an English eccentricity, and that a character can be lying on the side of under a tree, just lolling around, nothing to do, and sees a white rabbit going down a hole, and she follows it, and all this stuff happens. So like what John Lennon said before he was murdered, life is what happens in between your plans. And I think that willingness and openness to just go and find out what is down the rabbit hole is enormously seductive. So that's why Alice in Wonderland is the literary character I love the most.
Finally, what's one thing you wish you had more time for?
More time for scuba diving.
Where's the best place you've been scuba diving?
The Maldives and the Seychelles.
Well, thank you so much. Congrats on the film.
Thank you so much.